All right. Well, hopefully we're live right now. Welcome to another episode of Reference Roundtable. My name is Michael, and I'm joined today with Sarah. Normally Lacey's with us, rounding out our trio, but today it's just the two of us. And we are coming to you live still with our relatively new Reference Roundtable equipment. So we believe that we're live with you right now. If for some reason something's going a little bit haywire with the image or the sound or anything, we're able to see your comments. So just comment, let us know. And thank you in advance for being patient with us as we get used to our new technology. It's really great stuff, and we're so excited to have it. But of course, with any technology, as I'm sure you can all understand, there's always that wonderful learning curve, even if you are a librarian. So what are we going to do today's episode of Reference Roundtable? If you read the title, you'll see we're going to be talking about the 2024 Adult Summer Reading List. Now, if you've participated in adult summer reading at the Sioux City Public Library before, you'll know that every year for adult summer reading, we publish this list of a dozen recommended reads for adult readers. And so it's broken down into a list of 6 nonfiction and 6 fiction books. So there's really something for every kind of reader. And I'll go through the list right now before we start our little game today, I think, so you can be aware of all the options. Okay. And so those of you playing along with us from home, you also will probably want to know the options you have for your answers today. So the game we're going to be playing with these, it's a guessing game. And you're going to be getting quotes from each of these books, and you'll have to guess which book it's from. So.
Okay. Well, and just a side note, you may recognize some of these because we tricked you.
We did. We were a little deceptive.
And we each chose a couple of these for our next book club.
That's true.
To vote on. And so you will see the book in here that we are going to be reading and discussing in July. So if some of these sound familiar, yes, we have talked about a few of them in another episode.
That's a fun Easter egg for some of you regular Reference Roundtable watchers. If you want to go back and see the episode, we were talking about some of those titles that you all voted on. And we'll see. I'll highlight the winner when we get to it.
Yes.
So I'll let you know if it's fiction or nonfiction, but I think we'll talk more about the books in depth as we go through the game, and I think that's where the good conversations will happen. So for now, we'll just do the brief basics. This one is one of my favorite book titles ever. It's Sipping Dom Perignon Through a Straw, Reimagining Success as a Disabled Achiever by Eddie Ndopu. And it was written entirely using his one good finger, and that is a nonfiction book. It's a memoir.
Cool.
And then this one, some of you may be on hold for it. It's kind of one of the big books of the year so far. A lot of people reading it and talking about it. It is James by Percival Everett. This is a fiction book. It's a novel, and it's sort of a spin on the story of Huckleberry Finn.
Yes, I think that's going to be a big summer read.
Yeah.
It's been popular already.
I'm on the hold list for it. I'm waiting for it. I'm very excited. Our coworker has read it already, and she recorded a check it out for it. If you listen to K-Wit, that will probably air one of these weeks here, and she really enjoyed it, and she was nervous heading into it too, I know. So
yes.
Next, we have A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers, and this is a science fiction novel. As you can see, it's a nice, brief, really almost a novella. You could pop it in a bag, take it with you to, if you're going to the lake for the day. I think it's a great summer read, and it's also the first in a series if you like to read series books. This next one's really special this year. It's On Common Ground, Learning and Living in the Los Hills. Saying the word makes me so self-conscious.
I have heard before it should rhyme with bus, so Lus.
Okay, so Los Hills. You can comment below with your desired pronunciation, and I'll do my best to accommodate you in the future. Regardless of how you say it, this is a project. It's edited by Ryan Allen and Brian T. Hazlitt. They do live in the community. You may know them. And this is a project that includes their voices, but many others who came together for this project that took place just 10 miles north of the city. So it's in the environment we call home. So excited about that one. This next one's another nonfiction title. It's Birding While Indian by Thomas C. Gannon. It's a mixed blood memoir, and it's sort of in like journal entries or diary entries, sort of based around his different bird watching adventures, but you also kind of get to follow him through his life. like through bird watching. It's a really, really cool book.
Books like that where it's like learning, but also someone's life weaved.
Yeah.
So.
And
it reminds me of like braiding sweetgrass.
I think if you enjoyed braiding sweetgrass or nature writing like that, you will really like this book.
Yeah, definitely.
Now that these two are, since we just talked about them, it's worth mentioning. Most of these books are going to be available to you as physical copies through the Sioux City Public Library. We already have them. You can go ahead and put holds on them right now if you'd like. But the On Common Ground book and Birding While Indian, they don't have e-copies on Libby. They're just unfortunately not available. But the books have such great local flavor, and I think they really have something for Sioux City readers. So that's why they're on the list this year. So if you're looking for them on Libby, you won't be able to find them there. But don't worry, we have plenty of physical copies. So
Yes.
This next one I know is on Libby as well as physically available, and it is Running Out in Search of Water on the High Plains by Lucas Bessir. And this one was a National Book Award finalist, and it's all about agriculture and the Ogallala Aquifer. And it's about a family farm in Kansas. So if you're from the Kansas area or familiar with it at all, you'll recognize a lot here. But really, it's the Great Plains. And so we in Sioux City know quite a bit about what living in the Great Plains is like. And something I think you would enjoy about this book, the author, he makes use of an older relative's research that she was doing. And he kind of uncovers what she was working on and builds off of that. So if you like reading about like ancestry and stuff like that, you'll enjoy that as well. Nonfiction.
Cool.
Which takes us to a fiction book. This is the classic on the list. We usually have a classic book on the adult summer reading recommended reading list, and this year's is Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. This one's been really popular lately. It's had quite a bit of a resurgence, I think maybe due to Book Talk, but I also think it may be being developed for some kind of TV show or movie or something like that.
What was the other popular book?
Kindred. I know Kindred was a series on one of the streaming services, but Parable of the Sower is another science fiction book, but it's like a dystopian sci-fi book. And I read it a few weeks ago, and what it reminded me of while I was reading it was The Hunger Games. If you really enjoyed reading Hunger Games type books, like the young adult dystopia novels of like the 2010s, if you enjoy those, I really think you'll like this a lot. It was a book that I think, if you also like The Handmaid's Tale, it says it right on the front. But anything dystopian, if that's what you gravitate towards, you'll really enjoy this. It's also first in a series as well, so it's another one where you can keep reading beyond the summer reading list if you fall in love.
Cool.
Speaking of falling in love, I think this is my favorite book cover of the last year. It's so colorful and fun to look at. It is For Pedro and Marquez Take Stock, a picaresque novel by Jose Falero. And I was wondering, I didn't know what picaresque meant when I was first looking at this book long ago, so I looked it up. And it's sort of like told something that's more like of an episodic storytelling style. So you know how like if you watch The Golden Girls from season 1 to the end, like you see their lives develop and you like get storylines, but you can still like watch one episode of The Golden Girls and you'll get a story from start to finish. So from what I understand, that's sort of what that means.
Okay. Interesting.
So that's a fiction book. This next one is nonfiction, and it's 8 Bears by Gloria Dickey, Mythic Past and Imperiled Future. And she does, in fact, go around the world, and you'll learn all about the 8 species of bear. That book had me, like, spouting off trivia for weeks afterwards. And
Bear trivia.
Yes. Okay. I don't pick favorites. I don't know if I have a favorite off the list, but right now, if you ask me, I might say this is my favorite off the list. This is Cahokia Jazz, and it's a mystery by Frances Spufford, and it is set in like an alternate United States in the 1920s, so like Roaring 20s, but in the city of Cahokia, which really did exist in ancient times, kind of down by where modern day like Missouri and Illinois would be. But in this alternate America, that city has developed and become like a huge metropolis. So it's very recognizably America, but there's some things that are different. It's just such a fun book. I think if you like mysteries or if you like fantasies, you'll really enjoy this one.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, or even historical fiction. I couldn't put it down. This next one is our last nonfiction one that we're going to have today. And it's How Infrastructure Works, Inside the Systems That Shape Our World by Deb Chatra. This one was on a lot of best of lists for nonfiction books. And I don't know anything really about the constructed world around me, and so I'm excited to find out more from this one. And that brings us to the last one, which is The Familiar Face. Like we were saying, when we were asking you all to help us decide which book we were going to read for our Reference Roundtable Book Club, the one that won the vote is this last one, which is a mystery, so it's fiction. And it is The Extinction of Irina Ray by Jennifer Croft. I've read this one already. It's a lot of fun. It reminds me of the movie Clue. I think if you like Agatha Christie mysteries that have like a really big cast of characters in it, you'll enjoy that book as well.
Cool.
So,
yeah, it's going to be fun to read.
That was a lot of talking. That was the entire list. And so I wanted you to at least have the titles and the authors in your head so you can play along with us as we go through our game. And now let's switch over to the game itself. We've got it on these sheets right here. So we're guessing the 2024 Adult Summer Reading Book List. And then just as a reminder, it's 12 books. There are 6 fiction titles and 6 non-fiction titles. So.
And mostly I'm playing, right?
Yeah. Oh, I should also.
Because you know these books.
Yeah.
And you've read a lot of them. I have not read any of them yet.
Right.
So I'm playing.
So it's really kind of a quiz for Sarah in this room because it would be very unfair.
And viewers. So please play along.
Yes,
because I don't want to be alone.
Right. Like if there's ever a day to play along with us, which you all usually do a great job of playing along, today's definitely the day because I can't answer these. I can't play. It would be cheating.
You made the game.
I made the game.
You read many of the books. You picked the books.
It would be unfair. And so good disclaimer.
So,
yes.
yes.
So Sarah's a good sport today. She'll be guessing them, but you can play along with her from home, and hopefully you'll have some friends to help you out.
Yes.
How do we play? Well,
all right.
We're gonna take a look at some quotes, and each page is gonna be each round is gonna be a quote from one of the summer reading books. You have to guess which book the quote comes from. And whoever gets the most correct guesses wins. So if anybody in the comments is playing, keep track of how many of these you get correct and let us know in the comments and we can see who wins. So
cool. All right.
I think the next one is going to be our first quote. I'll read them out loud for you.
Okay.
All right. Quote number 1. I hated the world that wouldn't let me apply justice without the certain retaliation of injustice.
Oh, geez.
All right.
I hated the world. All right, I'm going to flip back to here so we can...
Hopefully you can see the covers.
Oh,
a bit.
I think it's going to be hard. I hated the... Let's go with Parable of the Sower.
It is not Parable of the Sower.
Yeah.
Any guesses from the audience? It's going to get easier as we go on, but the first one's always going to be the toughest, I feel like.
Yeah.
Well, let's get it out of the way. This first one is from James by Percival Everett.
That was kind of my next guess, honestly.
So that was this one right here. And this is the author. He had a movie come out earlier this year based off one of his books. I forget what it was. But if you look that up and it's a movie you enjoyed, chances are you'll enjoy this book. Great author, great kind of retelling of a classic American story. And that's James. So we'll take this one off the board and I'll put them in a pile, let's see, over there. Or actually, I'm right in front of a bookshelf.
Yeah.
Using
Perfect.
all the props at our disposal. All right.
Lori says, I should have taken notes on the books.
I know. I'm sorry. I should have warned you all to write the titles down at the beginning. I'm sorry.
I could put them in the comments.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
If I
Well, that was James.
can type fast enough.
So, do you want to play while you type?
Yes.
Okay. I just didn't want to overwhelm you.
I'm just going to put the titles, not the authors.
Yeah.
To make it easier. And if I have a typo, don't.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
worry.
Don't. We're doing this is a utilitarian list for the game.
So, yes. Momentarily, you'll be able to check the comments for the list.
In the
Keep the
meantime,
name going. Oh, do you want to talk about trivia while
oh,
I'm typing?
Yeah. Well, this is a good time as any to promote trivia. So if you really like playing these little games with us on Reference Roundtable, and if you hadn't have a chance to come play trivia with us live and in person, you'll have an opportunity Wednesday, June 5th. We start at 6:30. Gameplay really starts around 7, and then the event ends at 8:30 with gameplay usually ending around 8, but you can come and play for as many rounds as you'd like. You can play as an individual, you can play in teams. We usually recommend that folks get there a little bit early because we do usually fill up, which is great to see. We really love the support that we do get at these trivia events. So I would recommend getting there early if you want to get a table. June 5th, Wednesday night, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. I'll be there. Lacey, who's usually a Reference Roundtable participant, will be there as well. We always have quite a lot of fun. It's at Buffalo Alice downtown here in Sioux City. And so if you go into Buffalo Alice and turn to the right when you walk in, it's in their event space if you've ever been there before. That's where we'll be. You really can't miss it once you walk through the door. And we have a lot of fun. There's 12 rounds. The prizes are for books. There's an opportunity to win every round.
Are these the prizes?
They are.
Okay.
They are, as a matter of fact. We are actually, the books you see before us, if one of them really jumps out at you, you got to go to trivia because you might have a chance to win it. These are actually the books that I will be taking to trivia, and each of these will go to the winner of one of the rounds, and you get to choose your book when you win a round. So I hope to see some of you there on June 5th.
Cool.
Buffalo
and now
Alice.
the titles are in the comments.
Okay.
So you can play along. If you didn't memorize the titles, we don't blame you at
Great.
all. But
well, we only got through one, so
yes.
Now you have the list, and hopefully it's easier to play.
So yes, so please play along.
And that first one, once again, was James by Percival Everett. Here is our next quote.
Right.
It says, "We're accustomed to thinking about making the transition away from fossil fuels to renewable sources as one that we are doing under duress, making a sacrifice to stave off disaster. But that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is leveling up."
Okay, I think I know this one.
Okay.
But I'm going to give it a couple minutes just in case anyone wants
All right, so Sarah has a guess.
If anyone wants to take a crack at it.
All right.
I feel like this one's pretty easy.
Some of these are easier than others.
All right, well, I'm going to guess.
All right. Okay, wait, let's go to the point to your guess. So your guess is running out in search of water on the high plains.
And at the same time as I was pointing, Lori was guessing.
So that was Lori's guess as well, and you're both incorrect.
Oh no. I was so confident.
You know what? That is a great guess. What's the other what's another one that you think? I bet you can get it with your second guess then. "We're accustomed to thinking about making the transition away from fossil fuels to renewable sources as one that we are doing under duress, making a sacrifice to stave off disaster. But that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is leveling up."
Lori said, "Look at him smirk."
I know.
You're right.
I know.
All right, this one.
No, I'll take you out of your misery here. Yeah, third time's the charm. You got it.
It can't be a fixing bug.
It's how infrastructure works inside the systems that shape our world by Deb Chatra. So you were kind of on the right track, though. You were thinking infrastructurally. You just weren't looking at the book that has the word infrastructure on it. You know. I guess I should reveal. Ooh.
Oh, we can take that one away.
Take that one away. And let's see. So double check, make sure I'm not making things up. Yep. How Infrastructure Works by Deb Chatra. You have plenty more chances.
All right.
Alrighty. So, quote number 3. "You keep asking why your work is not enough, and I don't know how to answer that, because it is enough to just exist in this world and marvel at it. You don't need to justify that or earn it. You are allowed to just live."
Well, my first instinct, I don't know. We'll give the viewers a chance.
Let them look at the options. We'll condense things a little bit.
Lori says Parable of the Sower.
It is not Parable of the Sower.
I'm going to go with Sipping Don Perignon.
It's not that one, but that's a good guess. Oh no, I'm smirking again. You guys...
Okay, Fiction or nonfiction?
It is fiction. And if we were playing a game of hot and cold, like physically, you were very hot. Like both of you were.
also said Parable of the Sower.
It's not, but think about what the other science fiction option might be.
Laura said, Sarah, we suck. I agree. I knew this was going to be hard.
It's okay. You'll see these books plenty more this year. You know, it's your first time seeing them. That's why we're playing a game to get introduced. It's not.
Yeah. Let's go with Pedro and Marquez.
It's not that one.
Put us out of our misery.
It's a Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. And so a lot of times when you think science fiction, you think about like action and space operas.
Oh, okay.
I've heard this book called like a warm cup of tea. So it's kind of a cozy sci-fi. It's a very comforting book, I've heard. So if you like a feel-good read, you might enjoy A Psalm for the Wild Built, which is where that came from.
Taking quotes out of context is really hard.
I know. I'm like, maybe I could play along because some of these I'm like, I don't remember. And in the spirit of that, let me make sure that I'm correct. Let's see. Yeah, it was A Psalm for the Wild Built. And our next question, or our next quote.
Okay, I'm ready.
I know you're ready. You're going to do great.
It's getting easier.
It will. It has to. The last question is going to be really easy. I know you'll get that
right.
one. Okay, quote number 4. They left him in the village of St. Louis, which was a church, a gas station, and a general store clustered under dripping oak trees.
Okay, I do have a guess.
All right.
We'll give the people a minute to view it. And nothing yet. I want to go with Cahokia Jazz.
You've got it.
Yay! And Kate got it too.
Cahokia Jazz. Yes.
After you talked about the area it was in, I was like, okay, I think I know this one.
And it's kind of funny, right? Because in this alternate universe, like St. Louis never becomes a big city because the Cahokia city is already so giant. So it's like this backwater.
Interesting.
Yeah, I really loved this book. Highly recommend.
Lori had guessed Pedro and Marquez.
All right.
But she congratulated me, so I'm glad I got one finally.
Hey, you're on the board.
Okay.
And yes, that was Cahokia Jazz. Alrighty. Quote number 5.
All right.
It says...
Oh.
I love these displays of the natural world, taking my fears of destruction and turning them inside out. I love these displays of the natural world, taking my fears of destruction and turning them inside out.
This one's tricky. We'll see if we get any guesses.
This is a trickier one, I feel.
It's a tricky one. I love these displays of the natural world. Lori just put this. Let's go with Birding While Indian.
Very, very good guess. As hot as you can get, probably.
So then we'll go with this one.
You got it.
Kate also chose Birding While Indian.
No, but once again.
And Aaron said Extinction.
That's another one where
that would have been...
Having read, it would fit, I think. Yes. But no, it was from On Common Ground, Learning and Loving in the Lois Lane, Less Hills, which another thing to say about this book, it's spectacular. And as much as I sit here joking about not being able to pronounce Lust correctly, I'll have to get over it because we actually have 2 events that coming up for adult summer reading about this environment. If you don't know already, Sioux City's nestled amongst these hills. So this is our environment. This is what we have around us to be proud of and to take care of. And so I'm really excited because Brian Allen and Brian T. Hazlitt will be doing a viewing of their documentary about this project here at the library, as well as speaking on it and talking about their experiences. So I highly, highly suggest you pick this up, take a look at it, and come to those events, and you'll get to hear from people who actually, made the book. So really cool opportunity I'm excited about.
Cool. All right. We'll make sure we were correct. On my second guess.
Yes, On Common Ground.
All
right. Quote number 6. Glittering, crystalline rainbows extended in every direction, while gentle gold beams swept between the softened trees that sparkled and beckoned and forbade.
Wow. Oh, and Kate said, "Oh my God, I have that book." She was talking about On Common Ground.
Oh, good. So I'm glad
awesome.
I have my own copy too.
Sure.
It's one I like to pick up, just because there's just such a good variety of writing in it too. There's something for every mood. All right.
We got a weird error message. Oh, it went away. Okay. Hopefully we're still live. Glittering. Aaron's guessing the Butler book. So
it is not Parable of the Sower.
Okay. I'm going to flip back to us.
We have, 7 left on the board.
Pedro and Marquez.
No.
Okay. Lori says Sipping Don Perignon.
No. It is, in fact, The Extinction of Irina Ray. So,
all right.
once you get to it in the book, maybe you'll remember and go,
yeah, I definitely will too.
Yeah. So, the environment this mystery takes place in, it's this like Polish forest that exists in real life that I had never heard of before. And it sounds like just a really fascinating natural environment. And there's actually like some photos in here. So if you're reading the book, like a physical copy, there's like a kind of a multimedia element to it. That's cool.
Very cool. Okay. Moving right along.
Well, that was the halfway point. We are halfway through the list. And yes, Extinction of Irina Ray. Another great book cover, too.
Oh, and Anne just said On Common Ground is excellent.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad some of you have already been able to read it. It really is excellent.
Cool.
And it's, my hope that as many people in Sioux City get their hands on it as possible, because I do think it makes you want to go outside and explore our community and our natural environment. It's something special.
Cool.
All right. So that's quote 7 is what we're on. And it says, sometimes it's a good day to die. But more often, it's just a good day to go birding. And sometimes it's a good day to suddenly appreciate my mom.
Well, I can't not pick Birding While Indian. I feel like that's a dead giveaway.
You got it.
Okay, good.
It is Birding While Indian. And I believe the author, he is at, UNL, so in Lincoln, over in Nebraska.
Cool.
And a lot of the birding outings he writes about in this book take place kind of around here. He'll talk about up in, I think, like near like the Vermilion area a little bit, but really all places within a few minutes drive really of Sioux City. So you'll also recognize a lot of our natural environment in this book as well. So really excited about it. And I love this quote too, and I think it really captures the writing style of this book. It's just all of life with such a distinct voice. So
yeah, I really want to read that one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Cool.
All right. So, Birding While Indian by Thomas C. Gannon. Wouldn't it be funny if one of these times I missed it? And it just fell off the bookshelf behind me, but it is not damaged, and it looks great. Good thing it's a paperback, huh? Well, quote 8. Okay, quote number 8. Right, so hear me out. Say you bump into me, and I'm wearing a new shirt. You ask me where I got it, and I tell you I made it. Bought the fabric, designed the pattern, cut it, sewed it together. I made the whole damn thing on my own. Now my question for you is, would you believe me?
I have 2.
2 guesses?
I'm just trying to decide which I want to try first. Sipping Don Perignon.
It is not Sipping Dom Perignon.
Well, we have no other guesses yet.
So
okay, we got a Parable of the Sower.
It is not Parable of the Sower.
My second guess is Pedro and Marquez.
It is Pedro and Marquez
Yay!
Take Stock. So this one, I think will be a lot of fun for people. It's if you like true crime, maybe this is a fiction book you'd really enjoy because they get into organized crime. Basically, it's about these two guys in Brazil, and they start this like small time little drug operation selling marijuana, and then they kind of get in over their heads. So to me, this reminds me of like a lot of TV shows that people really like. Remember Breaking Bad? If you enjoyed Breaking Bad, similar kind of story here, just in Brazil, and there's a lot of fun in this book. So I think it's a really good summer read, and just the way it's written, it's easy to pick up, put down. I love it. I think it's going to be one that people have a lot of fun with on this list.
It sounds really fun.
Yeah.
Anne had another comment about On Common Ground. She said that the amazing thing about it is that it documents such outstanding work restoring balance in nature by people we know. So,
it does. It really does.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's one of the books that I am very excited about on this list for sure.
Cool. All right. We're only down to 4.
Four left. Okay.
All right.
So that means we're at quote number... there's the answer. Pedro Marquez Takes Stock by Jose Falero, which means quote number 9 is the next one.
All right.
And it says, "It's better to teach people than to scare them, Lauren. If you scare them and nothing happens, they lose their fear, and you lose some of your authority with them. It's harder to scare them a second time, harder to teach them, harder to win back their trust. Best to begin by teaching."
I have a guess.
Okay.
It's.
This game is difficult.
I've lost track of the comments. I don't know if Lori was guessing if Parable of the Sower on the last one or this one, but let's say she was guessing it on this one.
All right, Lori. Well, if you weren't, today's your lucky day because you're correct. That's from Parable of the Sower.
That was my guess too, just for the record.
Octavia Butler writes really good books.
Oh, Kate said it too. Oh, Lori, that was not Lori's guess. We're gonna pretend like I didn't see 8 bears.
It's okay.
Parable of the Sower.
And you said that was your guess too anyway. Somebody would have said Parable of the Sower, I'm sure.
Yes.
It's one of those books that you just kind of have to read before you die. It's a bucket list book, and that's one of the reasons it's the classic on the list, but it also, I think, speaks so much to the modern reader. I was reading this book and I could not believe that this came out, I believe in like 90, 93, early 90s. Wow. And it just feels so fresh still to this day. So once again, if you liked reading dystopian books when you were younger, or if you still like teen dystopia, there's no shame in that at all. Or even some more adult dystopian classics. They talk about Handmaid's Tale in 1984 on the cover. And I know those books get tossed around a lot in like little blurbs, but they're not off with that. And I would actually put this book in the same pantheon, if you will, as those two.
Well, Erin says she really loved that book, so.
Good, I'm glad. Yeah, it's one, and it seems like across generations people enjoy it, so.
Cool. All right.
Okay, let's make sure I'm correct. That would be humiliating. Yes,
Yeah,
Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler.
All right, our odds are definitely getting better.
Okay, yeah, there's only 3 left, so I'm going to move them towards the front, so hopefully you guys can get a better view of them when we go back to those on camera. Okay.
And Erin says she's liked everything of Octavia Butler, so.
Good. Yeah, I really do just kind of recommend Octavia Butler as an author in general. Kindred is another incredible one.
I've always put it off, but I've always wanted to read her books.
Yeah. So. Don't let the science fiction put you off. I think sometimes people are afraid to explore a genre they don't normally read, but I think Octavia Butler's writing transcends genre. It's really spectacular stuff. So, all right.
All right.
Quote 10 out of 12. The morning when the music video to her smash hit, Oops, I Did It Again, premiered on Namibian television in the autumn of 2000, I woke up extra early, outpacing the sun so that I wouldn't miss a single second of the bubblegum extravaganza. Once again.
I feel like this one's obvious just because...
The options left. You can definitely, if you were here looking at the table the same way we are, the process of elimination is pretty glaring on this one. I'll read it again, though, for those of you who are just using the list here in the comments. The morning when the music video to her smash hit, Oops, I Did It Again, premiered on Namibian television in the autumn of 2000, I woke up extra early, outpacing the sun so that I wouldn't miss a single second of the bubblegum extravaganza.
Sipping Dom Perignon.
Finally, yes, it is Sipping Dom Perignon Through a Straw, Reimagining Success as a Disabled Achiever by Eddie Ndopu. And I love this quote because I think it just shows you how bright this book is. It's an effervescent read, although there's obviously like a lot of struggle in it and a lot of hard work, perseverance, and like terrible things that are just deeply unfair. It's this quote, I think, really brings out the tone of it. It's an effervescent book. I felt lighter after reading it. I felt more confident, and I loved his voice as an author. Cool. He's someone who I would love to watch more. If you have chances to look at interviews, he's a global advocate, as you learn in the book. So there's lots of ways to kind of engage with his work, and I can't wait to see more from him. So highly recommend. It's another one where this is one I would also maybe throw in a bag, take with me on a car trip, a weekend trip. It's a great one. You could read it in the back seat. I think it's the perfect size for that. And it's just, I can't recommend it enough. It's a fun one.
Fun.
And what a cool title, right?
Yeah, really.
Like, probably one of the coolest titles for a memoir I've ever read.
Very cool.
Okay.
All right.
Make sure I'm correct. Yes, Sipping Dom Perignon Through a Straw by Eddie Ndopu. Which means...
So, this is kind of the last...
Kind of the last one. Okay. Quote 11. The edges of Churchill, much as they are hemmed by Precambrian boulders crudely tagged by tourists and graduating high school seniors, are also bordered by blue and white rectangular signs warning pedestrians to stay away.
We could
make you guess.
Show both quotes and try to match them.
Okay, go away from this for a second on the camera. Everybody close your eyes, don't cheat, look away. And we're gonna
put both quotes up.
Put both quotes up, and you're gonna have to place them with the correct title. How about that?
That way it doesn't give away the last
there.
We just make
I love it
as we go. It's fine.
Okay.
All right.
Now
back
to our scheduled programming.
And then what was the last one?
And I'm gonna put the choice. I think sorry, we're having fun with the new stuff. And I hope you're having fun too, because
yeah. Perfect.
I don't know how this looks to you all, but I think it looks incredible. Okay, so I'll go back and read quote 11 over again. The edges of Churchill, much as they are hemmed by Precambrian boulders crudely tagged by tourists and graduating high school seniors, are also bordered by blue and white rectangular signs warning pedestrians to stay away. That was quote number 11. Quote number 12. To keep going is a cardinal virtue. Moral and economic at once, it implies endurance, strength, and grit. To keep going is a cardinal virtue. Moral and economic at once, it implies endurance, strength, and grit. Which one goes with which book?
I think I know.
Okay.
Anne doesn't have a guess, but she says, I love how you experiment with technology.
Oh, good. Experiment is the right word. This is we're all in a lab together. It's a kind of a literacy lab, if you will.
And we got, Kate says number 11 is 8 Bears and number 12 is Running Out.
Okay.
Same for Lori.
Okay.
And that was also my guess.
Well, you are all correct. What a great way to end it.
Yay!
Yeah, you all got it right. So
finished off strong.
You finished off strong. The quote 11 about the edges of Churchill, it's talking about this town up in the Hudson Bay in Canada called Churchill. It's the polar bear capital of the world. These people, I think it's a town of, there's like 900 people or something, very small town. And polar bears are a constant presence, so much so that they have signs at like their restaurants by the exit reminding you to look both ways before you leave to make sure there's not a polar bear. During Halloween, they have like people come through and clear the city of polar bears for during the trick-or-treat time, and it's like patrolled by guards to make sure. It is probably I don't know. I can't even say that that's the wildest chapter of this book. Like, each of these 8 bears, Gloria Dickey, the author, finds something jaw-dropping to say about them. This book is chock full of trivia that you'll just have on your brain for the rest of your life, quite frankly. I don't know. If you loved watching the Animal Planet, if you love watching nature documentaries, Planet Earth, that kind of vibe, you're going to love this book. It's like very much that.
Very cool.
And then quote 12, and the last one comes from Running Out. And this one, I think, will speak to so many Midwestern readers. The author is really invested in his community and is speaking from somebody who's just so enmeshed in it. And although it's in Kansas, which is not Iowa, right, we have a lot of similarities. We're still relatively the same region. And the Ogallala Aquifer is really important to us here in Iowa as well. So when he's talking about the Ogallala Aquifer in this book, it is pretty local in the grand scheme of things. And if you love like a good family farm story, you'll really like this. If you've come from an agriculture background, if your family, if you know you're not far removed from the farm or you do live on a farm, I think you're really going to like this. And no matter what you do for a living, if you live in Iowa, agriculture is touching your life in some way. So it's a good read for all of us. And that was the last one.
Yay.
So I know that was a lot of books, and we have the titles written in the comments here of this video. But don't worry if you didn't have a pen and paper to write these all down. There are going to be so many places you'll be able to find this list. Pretty soon here, we'll have it up on the catalog page. So if you visit the library's catalog anytime between June 1st and July 31st, you're going to see these books right there front and center. But you can also go to any Sioux City Public Library location and get yourself a adult summer reading brochure. And I don't have an example with me right now, but you'll recognize them. They're pretty unmistakable. And in that summer reading brochure for the adult summer reading program, there is a bookmark that you can tear out and keep with you. You can use it, and it has the entire list on it, as well as a list of the programs we'll be doing for adult summer reading. So grab your book brochure, it comes with that bookmark inside it, and you get to keep both forever, and you'll have the list with you whenever you need it. So you can keep it with you and read as many of the books from this list as you'd like, or if you have other books you want to read, you can still participate in adult summer reading without reading books from the list. This isn't school. This isn't a curriculum.
Right.
We're not really, these are recommended reads.
Summer is for fun.
Summer is for fun. So if all of these dozen books that we looked at today still didn't trip your trigger, don't worry. There's still a spot for you in adult summer reading. So I really do encourage you to come to one of the library locations, grab that brochure, and get yourself signed up here before June 1st. And we're going to have a lot of fun together. I'm really excited about it. So,
Very
well,
cool.
Thanks for playing along, Sarah, and guessing. It was kind of tough when you're the only one who can guess, but I think you had some good company in the comments. So thank you to you all.
Yes.
Thanks for everyone playing along with us. And as we're learning this new technology, I've been stepping on my microphone this whole time. It is what it is. I'm reading a book about Oprah right now, and she didn't start perfect either. So we're still working everything out, but that's part of the charm of Reference Roundtable. And we have so much fun doing these games with you all. And it's just I love it when you're interacting with us. So thank you. We'll be back next week, same time, same place for Reference Roundtable. Don't really know what we'll be doing yet.
No,
but
we always figure it out.
Always figure it out. We'll do something new with the technology at our disposal, I'm sure. And it'll be at 3:30, same time, same place, book-related, library-related. Be there. We'll see you then. Until then, keep reading Sioux City. And don't forget, all these books that I showed you today, they're already in the library's collection. And I always want to leave you with this, that the best and easiest way to support your local library is to just use it. So even if you're just curious about one of these books, put a hold on it. Check it out. Take it home. Take a better look at it and see. Maybe it's going to be your next favorite. You never know. So on that note, thanks, everyone. See you later.
Bye.